Hey there, lads and lasses. Welcome to Friday. This, of course, is Thunderhand64 coming at you live from the west coast of the United States here on a Friday morning. Friday! Woo! It is a little bit past 11 a.m., and that can only mean that it is time for some Buffooncraft SMP, my friends. I'd like to welcome in fellow buffoon, the real foolish sage himself. Somewhere up there in the chat, a few lines back, you can see the auto shout out there for him. And of course, Armageddon's Fire. Arma, good day, mate. How are you doing down there? Today we have some cool stuff. We always have cool stuff, but today, particularly cool stuff. Let's log on to the server. I am very curious. Well, okay. All right. Today's going to be a lot of prep work. Well, I don't know if it's a lot of prep work. It depends on how long it takes me to do it. But mostly laying down the, well, you know, let's get into it. Let's get into it. But we should be actually building some layers today. If I'm not mistaken, a Sage should be on the server. There he is. Well, before Lone Star jumps in on us, status was set. I keep forgetting that it unsets itself after you log off. And log back on. Good. Okay, we're good. We're good. Just set up my phone here. Because I always monitor the stream on my phone, just so I can see what you guys are seeing. It's good for troubleshooting. There we go. I'm going to injure yourself. I am excellent. Thanks. Kachi's conservatory, after school's conservatory, has concluded for the season, for the year. And so shorter days for Kachi now for the last couple of weeks. He probably has about maybe 3 more weeks of school, a little bit more. So Kachi's day is going to start getting a lot easier because, boy, that lad is an extremely busy lad. Okay, here we're at the build site. I'm laying down some grid work. I didn't do this in Season 4. Not really. But I'm laying down just some simple grid work here to help me register the layers and stuff. You're going to be seeing the chunk borders here a lot because the way I've laid out the schematic, it corresponds with the chunk borders, and that also helps me register things. Can we see as well? Sure. There you go. Okay. So that's about I've done that, and this is the 3rd stream in which I've done that. I forgot to bring over the display. Thank you, Sage. So, yeah, so here's the build site. You can see it is not too far offshore here. And we've been doing a lot of prepping. We've installed our conduit. The first 17 layers will be underwater. And then there'll be another 11 layers, if my trigger's correct. And of course it is. There'll be another 11 layers above the water. And so this particular part of the build actually isn't that big. It should go together pretty quickly. I've slapped down a beacon too. I have haste on the beacon right now, but I may wind up putting speed. I'm not sure the effect really works underwater, but I can see in the upper right-hand corner, the haste effect is on, so it should be. We're going to see if it actually pays off underwater here. But we need to lay down several chunks of this kind of smooth stone now. I may swap this out later when I do a little terraforming around it, but we'll see how that works. Keeping an eye on my phone so I see what you see and immediately does not see what we do not see. Good point. Good intentions, paving my way to. Anyways, yeah. So I'm going to be laying down quite a bit of stone here and doing this in these areas. I also have my. Where did that go? Let's bring this down here. So over here, and we can swap out the display here. Is it there? So I have a schematic here in which I'm using as well. I'll refer to that a few different times during the stream. And so I'm going to let's start doing a little bit of terraforming here and swapping out some of this stuff. We can do that. Yeah, here we go. So we've already broken ground on our build. Kachi was extremely instrumental during some key parts of the Blender stuff and whatnot. I did almost all of the Blender stuff myself, but there were some key parts where, yeah, you know, I could have figured it out myself eventually, but, you know, I've got my genius son right there. Why not? And he's so happy to help. Oh yeah, see the haste does its thing underwater here. Sometimes it does a little too well, like right there. But it's going to help out quite a bit here. You know, there we go. I don't have to take out all of this stuff. What I want to do is remove the sand and just place some stone down, or whatever stone I mine up while I'm clearing out this stuff. And that's because I'm going to terraform some of this later. And I need a firm base substrate on which to build. And so I'm going to be doing that. Also, I need the sand. One of the main blocks for my block palette over there on the Mushroom Island happens to be sand. So instead of going to the desert and mining all of it, I can get some of it right here. Right. Let's just clear out some of this stuff. So we've got a couple of chunks. Yeah, Minecraft unfortunately does not allow piling into something. Yes, yes. Yes, this particular block has to be is interactive with gravity in a very unproductive way sometimes. Yeah, good point. Good point. So this is cool because these streams are going to be like the season 4 streams. If you liked those streams, yeah, we got more of that. We've got more of that. So that's going to bring back a little bit of nostalgia, at least for me. Okay. And if you didn't, well, yep. Too bad. All right. Let's do a little bit of this. And you know what we'll do? I got trash. I may wind up making an incinerator pretty soon. Here, we'll see. I have one back over there, so we'll see how it goes. And it's going to take me a few minutes to get my stride going here, but bear with me. Bear with me. Right, yep, this level. Okay, here we go. Of course, Nebula would sneeze, and this would all be gone. So, the one-woman eco-disaster herself. But you know what? When we hit our pace, we do pretty good ourselves. I am the slowest builder on the server, but that doesn't mean everything goes slow all the time. Yeah, see, dropping down into swim mode when you're working underwater, I have to get used to this again. This was a pain in the butt during Season 4. So you have to W and then release. W and release. That's how that works. Oh, Sage, by the way, are you still in need of the diorite? I don't think so. I think you're all set in that regard. True or false? I'm good on diorite. Yeah, I thought you were. Okay. Let's see. Let's get rid of some of this. Some of that. Some of that. Why am I saving lapis? I don't know. Oh, for dye. That's right. Let's grab some stone. Let's do this. I should have a shulker full of that's smooth stone. Here it is. Regular stone. So now I can do some things here. We'll lay down a base layer of stone. And then the smooth stone on top, that again, that may be removed at a later date. So, oh no, not this layer, Thunder. Again, I gotta get coordinated here. There we go, right down in here. This is the layer upon which I want my stone. Despite this rather seemingly inauspicious start with me just bumbling around here, I have the feeling this is going to go together quite quickly. So there will be 3 stages, actually 4 stages in which this will be built. The Blender stuff I did and the schematic will give me the rough shape of that in which I intend to build. So that's what the schematics will help me sketch into place. Then I will freestyle the details over it. Block palette, texturing, some shapes and stuff like that. Then stage 3 will be the very, very dangerous and funny part of the installation, and that'll have to happen in stage 3. And then stage 4 will be a little bit of terraforming around it to complete the scene, and then it'll be done. So it'll have like 4 stages, I'm thinking. Let's see. Let's get out the smooth stone. I did put a little bit of thought into how I'm going to go about doing this. And so I am a little bit prepared. What about the fafting and procrastination stages? Those are complete. Procrastination stage is complete. Also during this stream, as I'm running back and forth, flying back and forth, swimming back and forth, between the site and the base, you will have noticed that my procrastination has been on the main build portion of my base only. My base is the entire island, and I have not been procrastinating on that. I've been doing quite a bit of building, and I've been updating mostly quality of life kind of things around the base to make it a little more functional. I've had some early game systems and stuff in place there in which I've recently updated. There we go. I got them out of the way early. Yes. Undoubtedly, there'll be things that are forgotten and stuff. I'll have to go back and forth a bit, but for the most part, yeah, like this smooth stone, I'm going to have to go back for a little bit more of that. Let's get that, the garble out of there. Yeah, I'm going to need more smooth stone. I brought over the wrong shulker early this morning. I think the shulker that I need and that has all of the smooth, or the balance of it, the majority of it, is still back at the base. Also, I've been doing a lot of work in generations on the drown farm. I've been having so much fun with that. And it's good to put in those kind of hours on the generation server again, because I've really missed doing that. It's been a lot of fun. Kachi's been looking in on what I've been building in there and heartily approves. In fact, approves so much so that he said after school has concluded, he's thinking of logging back onto Generations because he hasn't been on there in a long time. And he's curious. He's curious. So it'll be fun. We'll do a couple of streams, a couple of Generation streams together, just like old times. We can do this. Carry one with us. Let me see here. Pan on down here. My God. Builds insane iron farm, revolutionizes trading halls. For the second time. I'll imagine what he does when he's not. Welcome on in, Mr. Supernova Relic himself. Mr. Relic, how are you doing today? Okay, let's see if I can actually use this trident. I think I can just trident over to the base like this. Very well, thank you, sir. Always good to see you. You guys can see the auto shout out there for the man himself. I didn't even manage to say hello. What am I doing? Okay, bubble elevators. Let's see. Let's do this kind of a thing. By the way, fellow buffoons, A Real Foolish Sage and Supernova Relic have been smashing it out of the park with their builds lately. Let me see. What did I do? Where did I put all that smooth stone? I had like tons and tons of that smooth stone somewhere. Oh, it's probably up here. Probably in tech stuff, right? No, it's not. Because if I ran out of that, that is not going to be fun. That means I'm going to have to smelt up some more. It smelts up quickly, but... Very well, thank you, sir. Yes. Oh, is it here? Where did I put that stuff? I mean, I've got a little bit right there, but I had like a full shulker, or nearly a full shulker worth of smooth stone. Well, I mean, it's easy enough to rectify, I suppose. We just... There we go. This stuff will smelt up shortly, and we could do some clearing, some site clearing while we're waiting. I'll do that. That. Sage with the mighty flying machine, stripping off entire layers of strata to expose his ancient city build. And Nova just going nuts with the Egyptian thing. Oh my god. By the way, fellow buffoons, if you have cobblestone, not cobblestone, cobbled deep slate that is clogging your inventory and you would like to part with it, you can certainly drop it off. I'll set up a shulker right next to the portal. And feel free to drop that off anytime. But I'm not asking you to go fetch cobblestone for me. If you have it and you want to get rid of it, please. Because that will be the main block in which we will sketch out most of these features. Yeah, I need to rebuild the bomber again. Those are finicky, delicate things. They really are. We're in the grind phase of the season, I feel, and we're all probably starting to lock into the builds. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see things coming together. All right, I'm doing well there. I think I have that all set. I was about to dispense of the rain when I remembered I can riptide back and forth, so we should be okay there. Let's go clear out some chunks, and then we'll come back and we'll go fetch that. It went across once and then stopped. I started breaking down in the return station, and the bomber started running. So I had the duration of one run to rebuild. Oh, okay. I think you should have that down by now, though. There we go. All right, yeah, let's clear out some chunks. Pressure got to me. You know, it could have broken when it was crossing chunk borders. Sometimes that happens with the flying machine stuff. Very finicky. Let's go get all this stuff out of the way. It's stage 3 of this. Like I said, when we install the dangerous bits to this, that's going to be the funny stuff. And hopefully that'll come about quite quickly. So let's do this. Let's get some of this. We'll lay down our substrate. While we're waiting for our smooth stone to cook. And I'm using smooth stone because it's not a nature block, so it stands out. So I know I put that there and I can get rid of it later. And it also has the edge detail on it, so it makes it easier to count blocks, which is critical in this kind of building. But using the chunk borders to register, that helps out a lot. And then just scaling the schematic diagram such that it's scaled to the blocks and the chunk borders. That also makes this kind of stuff very well. It makes it possible. Otherwise, yeah, that took a little head scratching to work that out in season 4. But it's nice now that we did work that out in season 4. We have it down, and so yeah, I don't really have to figure that stuff out. So I can just deploy that kind of build style again pretty quickly now. Let me see. We have a little bit of modulation to do here. I say modulation like a musician, where it should be moderation. Bye-bye. Oh, and by the way, while we're at it, I would like to remind viewers that it is the month of May, and of course, we have a new redeem somewhere in the redeem list. If I can pull it up. There it is. Oh my God! Those of you with the available channel points, feel free. That was a special request by Kachi because he's big into JoJo's Bizarre Adventure these days. And so he requested that. And of course, when the boy requests something, it's easily done like that, of course. We will definitely comply. For Halloween, both Kachi and I will be cosplaying JoJo characters. He's going to cosplay Kataro, and I'm going to be that version of Joseph Joestar, the old version for Part 3. So Kachi's saying, so Ba, you're going to have to order, and I'm like, the only thing I really need for that, Kachi, is the hat. The rest of the clothes, I normally dress like that anyway. I'll need the gloves too. But I said, that's it. The shirt, the pants, the boots, everything else, that's how I normally dress. So, it's not much of a costume, son. Joseph is his favorite character, though. I'll tell you, it's nice though, being able to build and having a plan. I love that so much because then I don't have to think quite as hard. And you may point out, well, Thunder, you had to think about how to set all this up. Yeah, but that's like thinking ahead of time. Then when it comes time to build, I hardly have to think at all. It's nice. I can just place blocks and not have to puzzle things out so much. Not quite like Baby Zombie Rush, where it's like, I mean, I like doing that. It's fun, but I'm so tired after those streams. I'll tell you. Trying to improv redstone on stream is, especially that kind of redstone, where a lot of that stuff hasn't been done before, and so you have to create a lot of stuff. that's challenging. That's hard to do. That's another reason why I only do 2-hour streams. The gray matter just isn't up to it, especially these days. It is cool seeing the other buffoons cranking away on their bases, though. And, you know, because we always love to see what each other builds. And I've delivered some cobble deep slate for you. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciated. I probably have enough cobbled deep slate for this part of the main build. And so just to review, this part of the main build, this first component of it in this location, I'm going to build that. I'm going to see how it comes out. If I'm satisfied with it, I will build 4 more in the cardinal positions. West, east, and south. So that's where I'll need most of the cobblestone. And then if I like the way those have come out, if I'm satisfied with those, I'll build 8 more. That's the long-term plan. So we'll see how that goes. And they'll all, right now, at least for the moment, I'm thinking that the base block for them will be that cobbled deep slate. So I wish I could have picked an easier block to obtain. However, that's the block that has the look that I think will work out the best. And so there. So be it. All right, we can go back. We can go back and get ourselves some more supplies, and we can check on our smooth sandstone. So you can see where I've made the bay here, the little boathouse portion of this, and some other parts of the build. Yeah, we can start bringing some of this over right now. There's the man. Make sure I'm not muted. I'm not muted. Okay. Thank you, sir. Did you?
I was muted. I was saying that you were littering.
I'm sorry, what?
You were littering.
I
This
was
was all above you.
Okay. Thank you. Let us do this. So how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Flying
And
machines
if you follow me
aside.
outside, you can see the delivery I made.
Yeah, let me pop up there. Just let me put this stuff away. Let me do my housekeeping.
Yeah.
Like a man.
Instead of polluting the ocean.
Oh man, you have not seen anything yet, I assure thee. Now let me turn off these chunk borders for the nonce.
They're not all.
And this is stuff you don't need that you're trying to get rid of, right?
Yes.
How much more do you have back there?
Hopefully 0. I'm sick and tired of having this stuff.
Okay, all right, because that's what I'm looking for. If it's annoying you and it's clogging your inventory, then yeah, this may take care of the entire.
I
all
have
12
learned not to
modules.
Underestimate build.
But this should do just fine.
This will get you started.
I am greatly appreciative, sir.
Yeah.
Greatly appreciative. If you need any of it back and I have some left over, this is the place you go to, right?
Yeah, yeah. If I need any of it back, I'll just demolish whatever you built and take it.
You know, you should hold that thought because the attempt on that might not be successful.
Okay.
Might not be successful. Could be the
I'm
most
very
dangerous thing
curious.
you do on the server.
I
And
am
not because of
very
me.
curious. Fair enough. Well, enjoy.
Toodle doo. Thank you, sir. By the way, we have a new feature that Mr. Relic has installed on the server. Where beeth that? I did have it here somewhere. Wow. Solicitors are going hard today. There we go. Let me see. Where did I put that? All right, I'll have to show it off later on in the server. I thought I had that in my in that shulker right there. That's where it should be. Yes, I do. Wait, I do. I was not expecting to see that. We now have hats on the server. So let me see. Let me get the angled view of this. If I go into here, there you go. The typical Thunderhand flat cap, just like real life. Now I'm wearing my Celtics hat today, my ball cap, but just like real life. And you can cozy beanie, yeah, no, flat cap, right? And so, so cool, so cool. I'm loving it. And we have different kinds of hats too. We have crowns and all kinds of really cool things that that you can buy from the Wandering Traders on our server now. Nova, thank you. That's very, very cool. Comedy has been cranked up another level. Oh, let us do this. Put my gear away here. This server is so cool. I'm gonna hop off a bit. See ya. See ya. Okay, let me see. I need to grab a little bit more of the stone. Like this. Like this. And I think I have enough. I'll learn how to use this thing. Do I have to be under the water and then launch from... Yeah, that works better. Okay, there we go. I could just boat over there too, but... how am I doing time-wise here? Still got plenty of time. All right, I have to look at my schematic carefully here because I would... Yeah, but the launch strength is inconsistent in my experience. That's good to know because sometimes I don't know if it's me just not being able to use it correctly. But I figure we're so close to the base that it's just good to use that. And I really should use features in the game like that a little bit more often. Off camera, we're going to have to sort and organize and stage all of that cobblestone that the real foolish one so generously donated. Buffoons are so cool. I mean, it's makes it so much easier to build on this server because everybody's got high-powered everything. Especially when you get to these parts of the season, these portions, these points of the season, it's like, wow. Buffoons want for nothing. Of course, I don't have to use just stone. I've got a lot of andesite, and Sage says he doesn't need the diorite anymore, so we can lay that down as substrate as well. Of course, the one block that Nova definitely does not need. That's more sand. Cool. Well, let's strip this off. Now, I do need this to be prepped over a larger number of chunks, but I do want to at least lay down the first layer today if I can do that. And so I'm only going to prep the chunks that contain those features. I'm going to stay with that. Of course, this will help us terraform afterwards. That's the point of doing this. Number of the buffoons, through no fault of their own, were inactive for quite some time, but now they've got their stuff pretty much worked out, and so we're seeing a lot more building now. So it's very, very cool. A lot more building, a lot more interaction. What an SMP is all about, you know what I mean? So very lucky to have been invited to this place. All right, let's continue on here. Lay down some of this stuff. And I'll have to check my schematic. Again, you know, I don't want to... I just want to put down the minimum amount so I can build, so... Working out the math for this was not that bad. There's not really a lot in the way of equations other than, you know, there's some arithmetic, mostly. And then a little bit of algebra, a little bit of trig, which won't become obvious right away. The trig will become a little obvious when we get to stage 3. But it's mostly scaling stuff, so it's mostly geometry, which probably isn't much of a surprise. Let me see. So this is our central chunk. This is our central block for registration purposes, and this helps me line up the schematic with what's going on in the server. Right. So let me check out. Let me tab out to that. which is right here. And again, I'll switch over to the display here temporarily. So I just need maybe these chunks right here. So I will prep these chunks right around this, but I do have this chunk over here. I have a couple of features that are going in over there. So, let me see. We need to prep. I know you guys can't see the display yet. I'm purposely keeping on the schematic display. 2, about 3 chunks over, so I need about 1 more chunk here. All right, so we'll clear out this chunk. Let me get back to, there we go. So we'll do that. I know I need at least this one prepped. Last week at some point, Shut and Nebs were both building on the server. And they hadn't been for quite some time. And so that makes me wonder what they've been doing over there. So I'm way into doing this right now, but again, you know, I'm going to have to pop on over and have myself a gander. And see what they've been doing over there. Okay, this is good. We'll lay down a little bit of the old stonework right in here. Strong season 4 vibes, you guys. You guys, friends, chat, viewers. Strong season 4. Which is what I intended. More hints I'll drop about this. This is a combination of my season 4 theme, right? And with a little bit of season 2 kind of stuff in there too. This is good. All right, let's peel off this. I'm pretty distracted because I'm thrilled that Kachi's school is almost concluded. Number one, I'm happy for him because, like I said, he is the busiest kid I've ever met. And just for him to have a little relief from the stress he's constantly under. You know, that's my boy there. I really care about that dude. And so for him to get a little relief from that over the summer is just... that just makes my day. Like I said, his after-school conservatory concluded yesterday, and so he'll have earlier releases every day now. So he'll have a little more time after school. Then his orchestra wraps up in 2 weeks. He has 2 more weeks of orchestra, so then he gets a break from that. His online Chinese school wraps up. He has a lesson tonight and then one next week, and then that concludes. And so things are really wrapping up for him. Because it's tough being a kid his age and having that kind of schedule. It's pretty grueling. And he handles it just like a man. He really does, but I am concerned sometimes. A little too much sometimes. So. Okay, and of course, I was, it covers up my display when I have the schematic up, but I would like to welcome in the mighty, the one and only Lone Star Lone, the procrastination police. The server status police, an all-around scourge of the Buffooncraft server himself. Scourge. Is this part of the base building? Well, it's all part of the base building, right? The entire island is the base, but if you mean the main build of the base, yes, it is. Seems there will be a danger component to it as well. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Let me take a look here. I think, all right, let me do a little inventory management. Just a little bit. I'm going to get a lot of kelp out of this, which is a good thing. And a lot of extra sand, which is also a good thing. And you know what? I'm going to put the gravel in with the sand, and I'm going to put the andesite and all of those kind of blocks in with the stone, because I'm basically using that to fill. So let's just do this. Yeah, kelp can go there. Oh, hey, check this out. Check this out, by the way. Watch this. Bye-bye. So the conduit, I was always under the impression that the conduit just like minimized the mobs spawning around it. The conduit actually kills mobs dead. That I did not know. If they get within a certain range of the conduit, it just kills them. Oh, I forgot. I have logical zoom. It just kills them. So, cool. Bye-bye, pests. It does a tiny amount of damage to mobs if they are basically leaning against it. Well, you can see he started to take damage right here. And then when he got right on top of it, it just killed him. So, which is cool. I kind of hoped for the effect for the entire conduit area would make it way more useful. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a given so much, the whole thing handed to you. You could do something like, I don't know, maybe different blocks have different effects, right? Like a hard to get block, like if you put like one netherite block somewhere, then it extends it out to the whole, and make it like a piece of ancient debris, something that's hard to get, right? And plop that right in there, and then it extends the mob destruction out to the entire 50 block radius, I think it is. Something like that would be cool. All right, where's the smooth stuff? Right here. And let me see, let's do this one and this one next. Or, well, let's at least finish that one. And yeah, as I thought, I just looked over at the clock and we're at the halfway point. Let me at least finish out the registration blocks for this chunk. GD just went live. The bratty one herself. I say that facetiously. She's a sweetie. All right. So the drone farm has gone so spectacularly well in generations that I'm thinking on suggesting to OPG, seeing if he would like to build another version of it in that incredibly lucrative river biome behind his base. It's such a good site for that. I think I've spoken to him about it before. And maybe he'd like to team up with me on that and build that together because, good Lord, is that thing cool. All right, let us... Would make it way more useful, yeah. And again, you know, the game could make it hard to obtain, right? So, all right. I'm going to take a 3-minute break and run some ads. And then we will be right back. Hey there, welcome back. I should be in standing mode, actually. There we go. Drink here. A little camera adjustment. Right there. Okay. Scene. Scene, police. Scene. We're on. Okay. There we go. All right, now we're under a little bit of pressure because I really want to get that first layer set in. 2, 4. Yeah, this is quite a bit here, actually. Yeah, I really want to get this in. I'm wondering if I have the smooth stone to do it. The other thing I'm wondering is where did I leave that other entire shulker of smooth stone? Where did that go? I prepped an entire shulker of it earlier today. And I know I'm going to find it in some stupid place. I'm just hoping that I didn't break it thinking it went into my inventory and it didn't, and it floated up on the surface and then it despawned. I'm hoping that's not the case. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Thankfully, our mighty devs, our mighty devs with a V, have worked it into the lore where we have plenty of shulkers. Even though we have yet to access the end. And so losing the shulker isn't that big of a deal. It is a little bit, but not that big of a deal. And then losing the smooth stone, no, we've got so much stone. Oh, so much. Okay, that went quickly. That's nice. Let's get some more of this. I think you had seen how quickly we can smelt some of this out, so... And actually, we don't really need a lot of it. It seems like we do to cover this whole area, but it's really not that big of a deal. Yes, and we're out, I believe. Right. Speaking of which, let's go set up some more. We'll grab whatever's in the smelter. We'll reload it. We'll come back here and excavate the other chunks. We should be all set. I think I have to clear out that chunk over there and that one right there, and then we should be all set to lay out our very first blocks of our first layer. Again, I want to get at least one layer in on the stream. I'm sure I could use that trident in a faster way. By the way, I did build a workshop layer down here. With access to the sea underneath. And so we'll put some farms and stuff down here in this layer. I'm thinking I'm putting the mud machine down here. I don't know if that's going to be its permanent place because I do want, like if we're making a mud farm, I'd like that to be a structure out onto the island just to add to the, you know, the build. And just to get us from, you know, to prevent us from just staying all in one location here. go do this. Let's go fire up the next batch. Again, I'm doing this just one batch at a time because I don't want to make a whole bunch of excess. Normally, I would just load up my my extremely manual little smelter here. You can see where I've made the accommodations, the features to do that. But I don't really want my inventory clogged, my storage clogged with a whole bunch of extra smooth stone. I really don't need that much. Yet another season where I get away without making a super smelter, at least for now. Did I miss any? Nope, got them all. Cool. All right, now while that's working, I guess we can get some extra stone to bring that over to the site. Oh, you know what we ought to use, though, instead of stone? Because we actually need stone to make the smooth stone. Let's get rid of a lot of this andesite and some of this these other stone-like variants. Out of these junk chests. Yeah, like we can use up a lot of this andesite, a lot of this granite, and lots of this diorite. We can use a lot of this kind of stuff. Clear out some of these chest monsters. Use this for filler. Yeah, we can get rid of some of this stuff. All right, let's queue up our playlist. Let's reset that. Great. Good there. Wow, this might do it just like this. Yeah, that's looking good. All right. Then just a little bit more. This is probably too much more. All right. That's a full shulker. That should be enough for now. Plus it helps us clean up. I'll bring those with me. Here we are. Chunk borders on. Let me see. This is the one I wanted to do next. Let's go lay this into place. Unfortunately, in this kind of build, you do have to do this kind of prep work first because you do need this stuff in place in order to lay the blocks in their positions. You need to be able to register them and stuff. So there's quite a bit of this stuff at the beginning. And then once all this stuff is laid in, then you can proceed with the actual build itself. Makes things a whole lot easier. Again, then you don't have to think as hard. That's it for the smooth stone. Let us excavate some of this other stuff out. If I head over to here, this side I've got, what, 2 chunks this way. Okay, the substrate for those, that's all set. So I do need 2 chunks this way. So I need this chunk. All right, let's clear this out. Again, I probably don't have to remove quite all of this sand, but I need this sand for other things. So excavating it in one build and reusing it in another. So Scottish. Some of that. Let's go pull this stuff off the top. I think I'm into the next chunk though. Yeah, I am. Okay, I need to remove this. Okay, good. We'll clean up that litter up there in a moment. Let's go get ourselves some good old fried chicken. And then, let's see, let's clear this right off the top. This is good because we can use this for filler and smooth stone a little bit later on. I must be out of range of the beacon. Yeah, I am. So we're going to have to move the beacon around a little bit. I don't think I'm going to do that today, though. But one thing you can do is get within range of the beacon, and then you can still retain the beacon effect. I think it's up to 3 minutes outside the range of the beacon before it wears off. So you just keep dipping back into the range and dipping back out. It's not a big deal. All right. I'm good there. Okay, let us try to preserve the stone for making smooth stone. Again, I can go back and clean that up, or, maybe it'll despawn. Let's do this. Let's get rid of this kind of stuff. We can go over to here and do this with the sandstone. And these filler blocks with a regular stone. I think I'm going to need to segregate those out. Let's not worry about that now. Good, gravel in there. Good, there's some more of that. Okay, let's, of course, the inventory sorter mod. That's super cool. Let's just use all of this stuff for filler. Yeah, we can keep that with stone right there. Great. And then I have this full of filler material in there too, so we can do that. Touchdown. Here we go. All right, I guess it's gravel or granite that we have in here now, right? Trying to select diorite and coming up with nothing. Let's do this. Let's do this. All right, we're gonna have to peel away some of that. Not a lot. Okay, that's good. Down to here. All right, and I think that chunk is the next chunk that needs to be obliterated. And then I think I'm good. Then we could start laying down the blocks. The blocks of concern. All right. Let's gather all this sand. And again, just so we don't have to keep switching tools back and forth, we'll just take all the sand out first, and then go back and pull the blocks down. Okay, we're good there, we're good there. All right. This internal sand right here with which we need to deal. All right, how far down do I have to go? This is on layer 45. Yeah, we're good. To that level should be fine. And let's just bash out the vegetation. Okay, that's good. Okay, I like it. All right, let's level this off. Am I doing for time here? 12:30. Under the gun, under the gun. Fast, thunder, fast. So just remember that this weekend coming up, I believe it's Sunday, could be Saturday. I'll have to check, but you can check on the Buffooncraft Discord. There it is. Should be able to see the invite link up above there. We should have an event this weekend coming up. I think it's this weekend. Pretty sure. My conception of time is really messed up these days, so. But that is the link, the invite link to the public Discord. If you are not already a member, please consider doing so. Therefore, you can learn all of the, or therein you can learn all things Buffooncraft. Let's just go in thirds here. I think I can just strip this down here like this. again, we can save all this stone for smelting smooth stone later. And we'll just use the andesite and the diorite and the granite, the ite blocks. All of these stoneite blocks for this filler stuff. Again, I just need a stable substrate upon which to build for terraforming later. We have a little inventory management to do. Let's go take care of that. Ha! Bring it! All right, looking good. Wow, look at all that trash. I have my own Great Pacific garbage patch going on up there. It's nice to do this kind of work in Minecraft. Not always, but just to take a break and just do mindless block breaking. So relaxing. I shouldn't be using stone for this, right? Okay, looking good. Please, with going into the swim mode, please. All right, I think that is that enough chunks? I need 2 chunks outside of this. We've got 1. Actually, we need those chunks taken out too. All right, but I want to go check on the smelting situation. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this or not. I think I'm going to run out of time. Yeah, let's just put in these filler blocks right in here. And we'll put in the spares back here just in case we need them. All right, I need to process those chunks right over there. And I also need some of the smooth stone. So let's swap out the smooth stone. Let's do this. The Riptide looks like it's slow, but I think it's actually faster than Botanet over here. Let's do some sleeping too while we're at it. Is it already daytime? I thought it was night for some reason. Yes? No? Yes? Okay, there's the sunrise. Anyways, let us do this. And you know what? I think 1, 2, 8, 9. Why am I counting in English? Let's see. Stone. If I do decide to build all 12 of these things, I will either A, make a super smelter, or B, bop on over and see if I can use my neighbors. There we go. Okay, I'm digging it. Can I do this? Yes, I can. Okay. Let me see. We were laying down this stuff, so let's do that so we can clear our inventory. We'll go right across there with those chunks. So it's looking like I'm not going to be able to start layer 1 because the prep work's taking a little longer than I thought it would. But what I will do is instead of waiting until next Friday, I will proceed in laying down the layers. And I'll update pics both on the Thunderhand 64 community Discord server under the Buffooncraft channel and on our own Buffooncraft public Discord. So I'll post update pics on that. That way you don't have to wait till Friday. And we will let, as usual, we will let the build reveal itself as we build it. Stage 3 is going to be very exciting. Now, I already have an extra set of armoring gear, and I'm thinking on making a third set in preparation for stage 3. That's how, such is the level of my concern. Oh, let me just do that. Wow, indeed. Will also require the use of potions, of which I have plenty. That I was prepared. I have a whole double chest of potions. I'm going to need that. Okay, while we're waiting for that stuff to cook, let's go knock down and prep these 3 chunks. We'll go do that. I think I'll just process them all at the same time like this. Good here, I think I am. Yeah, I don't have to deal with that. But I do have to knock down the shrubbery. In fact, if we did this right, we could just take out the shrubbery right here at the beginning. Shrubbery first, then sand, right? Then the stonite, the stone and the stonite. I know the vegetation will come up with the sand. I guess I could do that in a 2 birds with 1 stone kind of manner, I suppose. What is... What is happening? I got myself a case of the jitters. Game, please. All right, let's do this. Okay, we're getting there, we're getting there. Cool. Oh, here comes Shut Mountain. Okay, let me see. Triple redundancy. Redundancy, weird word. It's a strangely weird word. Oh wait, triple redundancy. Oddly, strangely weird word. All right, let's get some blocks. Oh, no, we have blocks. Let's just inventory manage. Let's manage our inventory. Inventory management. Oh, you know what I mean. Words are weird. Good. Let's go pull up some of these. And let me see. Let's bring down the next bit of food. Shot doing the sleeping thing. Which is good. One of us is doing that because me doing the Submariner thing down here, I'm not going to really know if it's daytime or not. How am I doing for time? 47, that's good. 13 more minutes, which is actually a decent amount of time. I'm a little bit out of range for that. You know, I'm so tempted to set up an allay station and put some allays to work doing that, but you know, if they're not confined properly when you leave the chunks and they try to follow you and stuff, and then you lose them forever, and it's like, hey, go gather those blocks for me. Put them in that chest over there. Here's a note block to keep you on task. I'm a little out of range for the beacon over here. Right. Okay. See if I can get myself back in here. It's the thing about working with water is constantly going into swim mode. Really annoying. Advance and stop. Advance and stop. Yeah, if you double advance, that's when you go into swim mode. And you're just so used to doing that from working on land. It takes a lot of discipline and focus. Advance and stop. Yeah, also haste doesn't work when you're in the swim mode like this. Or it does, but it's less. Right? So keep yourself anchored down to the sea floor. Makes things go a little quicker. Okay, that's good. Let's use some of this other stuff for filler. Again, we're hanging on to the stone for use in making the smooth stone, right? Good, I'm on the right layer there. We need to extend out to the border over here. Let's go use some of these ore blocks. Right, okay, looking good there. All right, let's do a little inventory management. right, let's trade in a little bit of this stone here. And let's clear this out. And some of this. Let me see. I have 8 more minutes. I got to tell you though, it feels so satisfying having something to build. Or no, I've always had something to build, right? Just getting on with it and getting the build going is very, very... Squiddy, please! Again, I wish you could, like, train axolotls to stay with you, kind of. You probably can, but I don't think you could do that well enough, because it would be cool to have them swimming around and dealing with stuff like that. Please. All right. All right, that's looking good. I do need to take out that chunk. All right. And then at least the entire area will be excavated. So if we go a little bit over stream while we're taking out that chunk, that's okay. I do have to be very, very conscious of the time because Kachi does get out early today. I heard a pointy boy somewhere. And since he's at long range, he's not going to come near the conduit unless we bait him over here. Just a little bit closer. Just a little bit closer. I think he lost eye contact with me. Or did he despawn when I got far enough away? Oh, well. Well, that was not as eventful as I would have liked. The other thing is, you know, keeping a dolphin nearby would be handy, right? Not for like this stuff. They're very unbeneficial. But like swimming back and forth between the base. I think I tried doing some of that stuff in Season 4, and they just died. Constantly. I think they need to be placed in a minecart or something. There's a way that you can retain them like that. A somewhat more humane way. Not completely, but a little bit more. But anyways, yeah, we'll extend the stream a little bit just to prep this chunk. But then I gotta get out of here. I gotta be off to fetch the boy. which means I might not be able to raid out today. We'll see. You could leash a dolphin, I think. Might be a decent way to travel long distances in water. You would think, right? Except the dolphin always breaks the lead. Always. Always. I went through this in Season 4. Unless, you know, the game mechanic has changed since then. But, yeah, I invested quite a bit. Let's just call a spade a spade. I wasted a lot of time investigating the dolphin situation. Because if you remember that hand build, it was built out over the water. And so running back and forth between my base on land, swimming back and forth and just swimming around the water because the build was so big that, yeah, I tried to work out something with dolphins. Who knows? Maybe I'll watch a couple of videos and see what I can do. Like I said, I think you can place them in minecarts. And you know, I forget what the range for the Dolphin's Grace effect is. But if I could just place a few between here and the base, that would make things go a lot faster. And again, we're out of the range of the beacon over here. What am I doing for time? 2 minutes left of the stream. Please, Dolphin, not here. This is not where I want Dolphin's Grace right now. All right, let's go. Let's excavate north to south because we can get into the range of the beacon and then bring it back up north again. Like this. We get the insta-mine. Even though we're out of range of the beacon up the top there, we can carry the effect in or out of the range and then bring it back in. Oh, they're playing with all the stuff that's up there. Okay, that's fine. But the Dolphin's Grace is not appreciated right now. Yeah, this is precise work, somewhat. And you're not helping. You're not helping. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, there we go. Back into swim mode again. Wasting blocks. Wasting time. Yeah, right to here should do it. Yeah, if I could just maintain this level without constantly going into swim mode. So, W, release. W, release. Short bursts. Fuck. The hand control is like ridiculous for this. Not one of my strong points, if you recall. Hawk, hands please. Uh-oh. Dolphins. I did not do that. A little bit of Darwinism going on there. There goes the other one. Good Lord, you guys. All right. We're finishing up the excavation. Looking good. All right, let's do a little bit of fill along the bottom here. No. Stop. Again, let's not use the stone blocks if we do not have to. Oh wow, we got an underwater ravine right there. Hawk, hands please. Why are there bubbles there? I think the blocks were trapped. Okay. Well, at least the immediate job site has been excavated. That has been completed. Now we need to cover these blocks with, cover these areas with the smooth stone blocks. Then we can proceed with the building. Okay. That'll do it. Two hours in, and we're almost ready to start. Like I said, this is one of those kinds of things where you want this prep work in place at the beginning. Just take the time, lay it all out, because, yeah, you really need this to do this kind of build. It's worth it, believe me. Okay, yes, mise en place. Mise en place is important. Yes, you missed a bit. Yeah, I missed quite a bit. Thanks for pointing that out, my friend. Anyways, thank you all for showing up today. I'm not going to raid out because I need to go fetch Kachi right away. And let's see. No, I should be able to. This looks like a good place to sign off. Let's log out. I'm pretty safe here, but not 100%. So let's log off, make sure that we're doing well. There we go. Thank you, everybody, for showing up today. It was a really fun stream. I really enjoyed it. Just remember that we do this Buffooncraft stream every Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Our next stream should be on Sunday. That'll be 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That should be Kachi time. We'll see if Kachi's up to streaming. He hasn't been for the last 2 weeks, but he should be on Sunday. Sunday is going to be a very busy day. We have a Buffooncraft event. It's Mother's Day, in case for our friends, at least in the U.S., and also we have the Kachi Time stream if he plans on doing that. So scheduling wise, as far as timing that stuff, there might be some schedule changes on Sunday. We'll see what happens. The stream after that will be Wednesday from noon to 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and that will be Generations. We should be back on the Baby Zombie Rush beta world for that day in creative mode, doing that kind of stuff. So catch you soon, Thunder. See you, Lone Star, and bye for now, everyone.